I'm Priyali Sur from the Azadi project, and we are here at a Rohingya settlement in Hyderabad in India.
I'm Dan Sullivan with Refugees International in the United States, here partnering with the Azadi project.
So Dan and I have been doing a lot of interviews with the refugees as well as different organizations who work with refugees in the last 1 week. And Dan, my sense is that a lot of our interviews, we think we're going to talk about the living conditions, we think we're going to talk about education, and yes, we do talk about all of that, and there's a challenge that we see over there, but a lot of them end up in stories of detention.
Right. It's been an inordinate number of people who have told us stories about loved ones who are in detention, and not just for a set time because they're perhaps considered to be illegal migrants rather than the refugees that they are, but even when they've served those sentences initially, they're still in detention. So it's indefinite detention. And even those who haven't been detained are living in that constant fear of being detained.
So there is a sense of like re-victimization of the victim, of the Rohingya refugee here. Is this something you have observed in other settlements, in other camps where Rohingya refugees live in other countries?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I have made several trips to Bangladesh where the Rohingya there's over 1 million who are living there that face restrictions on their freedom of movement, on the ability to access work and education. And it's a different context, but many of the same kind of narratives are coming across where they don't feel safe. They found refuge, they're thankful. They ultimately want to go home, but in the meantime, they're finding it difficult to find ways to build up their futures, whether through education or employment.
And I think at this point we can wrap up, but maybe you can, since you have observed Rohingya refugees in various countries, and for me primarily the work has been in India, I would like to ask you that what is the stark difference that you have noticed in the Rohingya refugee who's living here in India as opposed to the Rohingya refugee who's maybe living in Bangladesh or Malaysia or Thailand or Indonesia?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of similarities overall in terms of wanting to ultimately go home when they can, but making the best of their lives here while they are here. And I think there is some extra access to education at the lower levels here in India, but there are a lot of restrictions on the further education, and as we mentioned, just that constant fear of being detained and then possibly even deported back to Myanmar, to the very military junta responsible for the genocide and persecution that caused people to leave in the first place.
Thanks, Dan. Our report is going to be out in a few weeks, and hopefully we'll be able to share that with you. So please stay tuned to Refugees International and the Azadi project.
Thank you.